If you're interested in thermoforming and you're here for the first time because you saw the headline for this video, welcome to the Sabula Tech channel on YouTube. This is the 1 year, well, a little over 1 year anniversary of getting the SIBE, I still don't know how to pronounce it, automation, thermoforming, vacuum forming machine. You'd think I'd learn how to pronounce however that's pronounced when I have a company name that's Sabula, S-A-B-U-L-A. I get Sabula, and you know, with someone who has a hard to pronounce company name, you think I'd try and at least get somebody else's right, but no, I'm terrible. So, this is kind of a recap of what's happened with the machine over the year we've had it, how the whole process went of getting it, using it, for those who are interested in maybe getting a machine like this and or found our video just because they were looking to find out more about this product. Ours is a 24 by 36 inch machine. It had the option of upper and lower heaters. Upper heaters, lower heaters are optional. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in one of the other segments I recorded, but this machine had an option for an upper platen, and that would be a big arching thing up top, be another air cylinder. It had more travel. I think it was the offer on it, and you could go down. And that has different benefits. I kind of wish we'd gotten that. Might be able to add it on later. We have to talk to them, but I kind of wish we'd done that. It would have been a good thing to probably have on the machine at the time when we ordered it. But I didn't think it was necessary. In hindsight, it probably was a good option to have. It's one of those things. Being new to this, I didn't know that what that offers you for capabilities, and let me just say, for different things, it offers some good capabilities for you. I would get it if you have the option on a machine you're looking at. Got this machine. We looked at a lot of other machines, skin packaging machines, other shuttle machines like this, the Bellovac, I can't remember. I'll list some of the other names here maybe in the video of the other companies we looked at. We got quotes from. The capabilities of this machine and the price is what I went for. It was drastically less than a lot of the other places. It's got its downsides, it's got its pluses, but it was a great machine to get for what we needed, and I think still looking back at it, it was worth the buy. I would do it again for the cost and everything and getting started in doing this. Other machines that are out there that we looked at would not have been as flexible as this machine is. Most of the frames and everything are all welded, and you can't do much to them. You can't change the configuration of them. And I changed the configuration of this, customize it the way we needed it. I plan on making some more changes to customize it the way exactly we need it. And a lot of those other ones are all solid welded steel, and it just wouldn't have been an option to do the modifications to it. So in that aspect, that's one of the biggest things about this machine, the price, and then just the flexibility of it. To be able to customize it the way you need it is what makes this a very good choice, in my opinion. So now we'll continue on with the rest of the 1 year review. What's the biggest problem we've had with it? Well, the biggest problem we had initially off the bat was that it showed up in a crate, or was supposed to be showing up in a crate, but it didn't come in a crate when it came to our door. It had been smashed apart by the shipping company, the freight company, and I think Estes is the company, and it needed some replacement parts. But Simon at SIBE was great and got us the necessary parts right away and helped us. We did a FaceTime chat on what parts we needed. He was awesome, very helpful. We got everything going just perfect, no problem, fixed right away. Then once we started to use it, then we ran into a problem. There's a brain unit box inside called the PLC. This little box right here, that's the brain that controls everything. During the time we had it initially set up, where we're trying to learn how to use it, it freaked out, and there's a timeout on it that after an hour of no one hitting the start button, the heaters shut off and won't come back on until you start up hit the start button again, or reboot the device, I guess, apparently, or something like that. There's a timeout in it, basically, that saves potential fire things if you were to leave it, you know, on and left it abandoned, and prevent, you know, electricity usage and all that kind of stuff. Well, that timeout would not reset, and we had to ship this back once again and talk to Simon, not once again, but once again had to talk to Simon and ship that off to him, and they got that fixed, got it sent back to us right away, and that was no problem after that. Then the other problem we had is, after a while we started noticing we have 12 zones. Each panel here represents 2 zones. We started noticing dropouts, failures in some of the heating elements. And through my own testing, I figured out it was these solid state relays down here were not getting any signal from the PLC. And once again, got on the phone with Simon, and he got us some new solid state relays. That worked. And then some more went bad, and then we got on the phone with him again, and he said that there was a bad batch from the manufacturer of these solid-state relays. So we got some new ones from him. He sent us 2, or I'm sorry, he sent us 4. We only had 2 bad at the time, but shortly after that, another 2 went bad. So now we've got 4 of them in there from another manufacturer, and we've been fine ever since then. We haven't had any more fail of the original ones, and everything's been pretty good. In fact, we've had in the last few months just outstanding results doing everything. Everything's been running spectacular. I've been very happy. Let's see, what should we touch on next? Oh, modifications to the machine. We did touch on this in another video, which I think I've removed now, just for some reasons. This panel is originally facing this direction, which is very impractical for when you're trying to use the machine and you're trying to see how much time's left on the timer before your plastic comes out. Also for changing the settings real quick and everything when you're standing right here. It's impractical. So we got some angle elements here and another short piece of stock here, and mounted it at a 90-degree angle instead. And that has been awesome. That's been great. Love it, love it, love it. Then the other thing you'll notice here, of course, is that we run different size molds, and so it comes with, it comes with a 24 by 36 inch platform, which gets chucked right out the window right away. Don't need it, don't want it. And in fact, the platform, to give a knock, I think the feet on the platform are a little junky, to be honest. It's been sitting here and the thing's been kind of falling apart in the corner. It's just sitting there. So I don't think it was made real well, and it's not real practical. I don't know what you would use it for. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's not easy to mount a mold to it or anything. I don't know. But yeah, Simon can answer that one maybe for somebody. This is the actual platform. I'm going to show that real quick, and you'll see why I think it's kind of junky. This is the feet that would mount to the bottom, the platen, and here's the upright on it. But this is just flimsy. Then you look at our platforms. Look at nice, solid piece of wood there. So you have a little bit more. This foot here can't rock as much as it can on that because it's on a much wider base. That's how it should have been. So Simon, if you're watching this, you need to do that. This is not going to hold up over time. That's just. But on the other thing is too, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to mount something to that. Well, especially it's all taped up and everything. Are you supposed to just put a mold on top of it and just let it sit there, rest there? Back to the machine. Now, for us, the platforms, the original platforms bolted onto this platen frame here. We kind of messed with that originally. You can kind of see the pieces in the channel there for bolting it down, but we quickly ditched that and we went to just clamps. It's much easier, quicker, it's less hassle. We clamp down the feet to the bottom there, and we adjust these in and out. You can see markings we've got based off the mold platform we've got, or the buck platform that we've got. It just works much better. Then we also come up here and we have to put in things, reducers to put in. Right now we're set up for a really small sheet right here of like a 5 something by something or other. I don't know, 7, I think, 7.5, somewhere around in there. Sheet size right now. and you have to sometimes get a little creative to get these mounted because things can end up in the way of other things, especially on the bottom here where you got the roller glides at and everything that can get away. So depending on how big a thing you're running in here, you got to get a little creative with your brackets. So we got this little here because that wouldn't work. We couldn't fit two of them in here, so we had to do one up here. So we did one there and then the L bracket there. It's good to have a bunch of this stuff on hand. That's all. One thing I can also tell you. Have a bunch of this stuff on hand. Also, we had to get a bunch of the parts that go in the channel that you can slip in this way, so you don't have to take apart the whole machine to slip it in the end. That saves you a lot of headaches. Get those. That'll help you a lot. Then the other thing that was kind of checked right away was the original parts that these clamps come down on here for holding the plastic in the frame. It was a piece of metal just like this, and this would come down on top of it. The problem is we were running fairly thin sheets, 030, 040 sheets, and this piece that was up here would deflect and bend, and you couldn't get good clamping pressure on your sheet. And so we put this on, and this is actually the feet that the device was mounted to, or the whole machine was mounted to the platform that it shipped on, or the crate that it shipped on. We just had those sitting aside and thought, you know, these are nice, good, thick pieces. Let's attach those. And we've given feedback to Simon on that, and it sounds like he's hopefully going to be changing over to doing these and ditch these for this to come down on top of. This part here is fine because it's screwed in here and it's screwed in there real tight and everything, and it's closer in here. It works fine. But this type of part over here, no, not so good. And so if you've got one like this, ditch this and get something better in there. Get even, you know, a bigger L bracket. I mean, it might be a little too much, but do it. It'll be better, and you save you a lot of headaches. Next thing is we always want an air supply next to the machine, because you can use the air supply to kind of cool down your part that's on the machine. If your mold is very hot and you don't want the plastic to kind of bubble up again, you get a supply of air to also cool the part, but also clean off your mold or your buck if it's got debris on it. You want to have air supply handy. So we have this to, not neatly right now, but we're not done for the day yet, but wrap up your hose and everything. Regular garden hose thing, right, screwed right into it. Then the other big thing we showed in another video is we added a valve down in here to adjust the vacuum amount, so you can adjust it. We added in that piece of silver pipe and the valve. This is something I recommend, because if you start to bust around, you will find that having this set at different settings can change how webbing occurs, if it occurs on your part that you're forming. It can also change sometimes some of the detail movements and shifts and stuff and everything by slowing down the vacuum and everything on there, and allowing you to keep your vacuum going over a long amount of time before the pump has to take over and do your vacuum. So I recommend putting that in. It just is another what do you call it, setting or adjustment you can make to perfect your parts. So put that in first thing before you ever even use the machine. Get one of those and put it in there. Play around with it. It's great. One of the other things I guess the complaints on it too is I don't like when this goes back, how violently it goes back. I'll show you real quick. See, it hits really hard. That bugs me. And the problem is you want this thing to go back. You know, you can adjust it. You can adjust some of the things on the piston. There's another one over here to how the air comes in. Problem is, as you make adjustments, and that also affects how it comes out. And you do want it to come out relatively quick before the plastic gets too cold. And that's one thing I wish there was something at the other end that would kind of cushion that, you know, stop at the other end. Quick look around, you can see they had labeled here, this is an air eject pressure gauge. You can adjust how much pressure it does for air eject. And depending on how difficult your mold is to, you know, or your body is to, or part to remove off your mold, depending on how complex undercuts you have in it, you may have to adjust the eject pressure on there. I have one that I got to put that about as high as it can pretty much go, around, I think around 80 for that. Then back here you have an overall air gauge adjustment coming off the wall, you can see there, and filter. Those are the only two adjustment things, like major easy adjustment things. Then you, like I was mentioning, you have adjustment here where you can turn these to adjust the air coming in and out of the piston. Same thing with the lower piston down there. You can adjust in the same way that. My other feedback is the instructions on how to use this are absolutely horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I am working on some instructions I hope to provide Simon one of these days that he can provide to people or put on his website, because there's what's out there is terrible. Another thing we've done is added leg levelers to this. It kind of goes underneath the post, and then you screw a screw in to raise it up and down. Not the best thing. What would have been good is if they had offered leg levelers to go in the bottom of it. Normally what they would do is they'd tap the center of this, and then you'd be able to thread it in and out the leg leveler. I believe that should be an option for this. Something they should offer you as a customer is that. One of my other complaints on it is that you can see down there, we're not air conditioned, not dehumidified air, and it's humid here. And this is the second summer now, and you can see how rusty that is, and it's getting rust in the hose. I'm worried about what that's going to be doing to the pump. That has me a little concerned. This probably should have been galvanized pipe. It should have been not this iron pipe, black pipe that's going to rust like this. So that's something too, Simon, if you're watching this, that's something you should not have, because in an industrial environment, quite often these places we did our bodies at and everything before, they weren't conditioned environments. So this is going to happen to them as well. So you need to get that some better pipe fittings in there. Oh, one thing I've really enjoyed on this is the recipe options. I don't even know what the recipe limit is, but we've got 4 different recipes stored in here with all the different settings, so that we can have things for different size parts or molds and everything all pre-programmed in there, and not have to remember everything or have it written down and everything necessarily. The one thing I will say though is your recipes will be thrown off in a non-conditioned building like we have, depending on the time of year and everything, and the ambient temperature. You can have quite a drastic change. In the wintertime, when this building wasn't heated, because I was the only one out here, but now there's other people out here, this was, it's like a 7-second difference in the heat time back there between when this building was fairly cold in the wintertime to now, this time of year in the summer. We have to shave 7 seconds off the dwell time in the back before having it come out and everything. So that is a good change. So that's something to be aware of when you're messing with your machine, is that will affect, ambient temperature will affect how long you have to heat up your plastic very easily. You'll definitely have differences depending on the time of the year and the temperature around you. I think that pretty much takes care of it. I mean, I know I've been talking some bad things there, but overall, like I said in the beginning, I would get this machine again in a heartbeat. It's been doing exactly what we've needed it to do. For me, a lot of it's been a learning curve, not just to use the machine, but learning vacuum forming. It takes a lot of effort. If you get one and you're frustrated with it, you're just gonna have to play with it and learn as you go along. Look at other videos, look at papers that are written out there by people and institutions on methods and tactics to get better vacuum forming results. It'll help you a lot. It'll give you some ideas to kickstart your brain, you know, and adjusting things or changing things to get better results. I think that's about it. Oh, one thing I should mention too, when I was talking about other machines I looked at and everything, this Simon was great, and he could get me 220 machine. I don't a single phase. I don't have 3-phase available in this building I'm at. So that was another big consideration. I could only find one skin packaging machine that kind of met my requirements, which was a 24 by 36 inch sheet size for my larger molds, that could still do 220 and not need 3-phase. So it was an extra little option to get this rewired for single phase, but I appreciate it a whole lot that they were able to accommodate me and get that exactly what I needed. It's been great. If I hadn't been able to do that, I don't know what I would have done. I would have been pretty screwed there. But yeah, that would help me and save me a lot, because most of the other guys out there that are making machines, they want you to have 3-phase, and that was just no way is going to happen. I didn't have a place that I could get 3-phase at, and I just would have been screwed. And I can say that having gone to other places and have other stuff done for my company and not getting good results, it's great to be able to have your own machine. And if you're not getting good results, you know who's to blame. You, most likely. And that's definitely been the case for a lot of things. And not have to worry about how much time someone else is spending in trying to fix or make your parts better. That was the biggest problem I had with other people doing my stuff, is that I would plead with them, take the time to figure out what it's going to take to get good quality parts, but they would never do it. They would absolutely never do it. And I'm like, you can charge me for it. I don't care. But once you learn it, then we can get much better parts and I'll be happy. But they wouldn't do it. And I said, forget you guys, with 2 different places, and got out of there and got my own machine. And unless you want to put up with that kind of thing from other people, because you're going to most likely be a small fish in their big pond, get your own machine. Unless you only have one mold, then don't do that, probably. Or that's all you ever plan to do very soon. Don't get your own machine. Well, there you go. If you have any questions about the machine, feel free to leave a comment. I'll try and answer it as soon as possible. If you want to see some other videos about vacuum forming, I encourage going through our video list and looking at that stuff. We have a custom playlist. We'll put a link somewhere in here that's just for our playlist of kind of how to vacuum form, or ways we're vacuum forming stuff. It's not really a how-to, but methods of vacuum forming and problem solving in vacuum forming. You might get some ideas if you already have a machine or you want to learn more. Watch those. We've also got a playlist that's just stuff we've made on it. That's probably less interesting to those who are here just to learn about the machine. But if you want to see what we're making on the machine, feel free to take a look at those. So, I think that's it. Have a good day. Bye-bye.